She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We are so glad that you decided to join us today. Today is the day where you are going to take a strong look at the causes of stress in your life, how it's wreaking havoc on your health, and whether or not you're going to make a choice today to change it. Here's the bottom line. You're in control of what you do every day. And here on the Dani Johnson Show, we are bringing you content, materials, strategies, even places where you can develop your skill so that you can live the life that you want to, a life that matters, that you're not being chased down by bill collectors, and that you are not losing sleep because of the stress from work. You see, stress wreaks havoc on your sex life. And if you have a sexless marriage, then your marriage is heading for trouble. Stress also wreaks havoc on your health. It's the #1 cause of heart problems. It even produces cancer. It weakens your immune system. It causes depression. It actually costs money. Stress costs money, lots of it. You were not designed to live under all that stress. Are you that father or mother that on Sunday, the last day of your weekend, you can feel the anxiety, the stress, and the pressure already rising? You can feel the chest pains. You can feel the questions. And it feels like an elephant is sitting on your shoulders. Do you allow the stress from work to ruin your weekend? Do you allow the stress from work to hurt the relationships with your kids? Well, my friend, today is a day where you have a chance to change all of that. 77% of Americans say they regularly experience symptoms, physical symptoms caused by stress. That's according to the American Psychology Association. The #1 cause of stress for Americans is work, closely followed by #2, which is money. What is your stress level like? What causes the most stress in your life? This is the question that we've asked our audience. Today, we're going to dig deep and find solutions to change this because life is too short, friend, for us to live this way. Randy from North Carolina, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani.
Hi. So, what about you? Tell me what causes stress in your life.
Well, as you were going through the introduction, I get a lot of flashbacks, but a lot of my stress is mostly from work.
Tell me what it looks like. Explain it to me.
So I'm a manager in a warehouse, and basically what it seems like in today's America, there are managers have a lot more on their plates than they used to, having to deal with this, that, and the other. And being a manager, you're expected to please everybody. And man, I know I sure do try. And then trying as hard as I might, I always end up on the short end of the stick. And you mentioned, taking the stress home with you for the weekend. There's some days where I'm here by myself for maybe a Saturday for 8 hours, or for Saturday and Sunday for 8 hours apiece. Just trying to catch up.
What do you mean you're there by yourself? You mean you're at work? You said you're at work? Is that what you're saying? Wow.
Yeah, I'm at work. Well, I said here because I'm out in my car on lunch break right now.
Right. So you end up spending some time on the weekends working, trying to catch up.
Trying to play catch up.
Okay, so here's one thing that I want to tell you, Randy. There has kind of been this propaganda that's been going out there that managers have more to deal with in America today than they used to. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Before all of the work-related acts, if you will, and the unions and all of this kind of stuff, the reason why the unions ever even came into play is because people were working 16, 18-hour days. Do you understand? So I am pretty sure that the earlier parts of America, even in the last century, that they were actually working quite a bit more. The 40-hour work week is a new modern thing. That was not how our country started. And it's certainly not how, since the beginning of time, things were. In fact, if we look from the beginning of time, work began as soon as the sun was up, and as soon as the sun was down, it was over. Do you understand?
Right.
So what I want you to do is I want you kind of open your eyes to the mindset in which that you have right now that, oh, it's harder in America today to be a manager. That right there actually causes you to play to lose. You already feel like you're behind the eight ball. You already feel like you are actually behind. I'm not saying that managers don't work hard. Managers do work hard. But what I want you to do is I want you to learn how to work smart instead of hard. In management.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You think what?
Go ahead. I think that I've been discovering it a little bit that some of my personality seems to be getting in the way. Mm-hmm. Like I used to think I had personality traits that aren't actually there. Like if I can kind of explain myself a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
In these kind of roles, I've been in multiple warehouse environments, and a lot of times people there that aren't in management are treated like a number. Mm-hmm. So and I will go out of my way to treat them like people. Like I try and individualize goals for them, individualize their own path to grow within the company.
Sure.
And sometimes it ends up being a dead end because I feel like a lot of people come from that kind of environment. It's just another job.
Okay, but hold on. There's two things I'm gonna help you with. If you want to be coached right now.
Correct.
Okay, let me help you. Number one, I commend you, and I am so proud of you that you can see that people in your line of work and the ones who are that you're responsible to lead, that they're often treated like a number, and you do not want anyone to feel like a number on your watch. That is brilliant, and that's a sign of great leadership. The flip side, you actually said something that actually showed that there's one place you're not working smart. The place that you're not working smart is you are giving them their goal. The reason why they're not completing it is because you're telling them what you want their goal to be. You see, you have a desire to raise up their commitment and their vision for their job at work, and you have a desire to raise them up to be leadership themselves. But at the same time, you're actually tripping them rather than allowing them to tell you where their strengths are, allowing them to tell you what they like about the work that they're doing, and allowing them to tell you the areas that they want to improve and what their numbers should be, or what they want their numbers to be. What do they feel really good and solid of what they feel like they can actually do? And then your job is to celebrate those milestones in which they are accomplishing. You see, if they come up with it on their own, and as a manager, your job is to ask questions. Hey, okay, this is what we've got on the plate of what needs to be done. I want to know, what part of that do you feel like you want to do, that you feel really super confident and good that you could do with absolute excellence? Let them give to you. Let them make the suggestions. Let them give their opinions. In fact, you probably have some great minds inside of your force there, your workforce there, that are not even getting the opportunity to think or share their opinion or even express to you other more efficient, more effective ways to actually get the job done. So what's going on is that you're working hard because you're only using your brain. How you work smart is by creating an environment where other people get to use their brain, and now they have ownership over their job and they feel better about themselves because now they're a contributor versus one who is just there to punch in and punch out. And that has everything to do with the kind of vision that you will cast to these people. That, hey, listen, this place can be looked at as just another warehouse that I'm working in. But the reality is that each and every one of you on this team has talents and abilities that the other one doesn't. And there's a reason why you're here. And there's a reason why you applied for this position. And I want to know why it was that you came here. And I want you to get below the surface of what I need to pay my bills. No, I want you to tell me the kind of life that you want to live. And tell them, I want to have an environment here where we have less stress and we have better teamwork and we're able to work together to get things done even faster, not because we're spending more hours, but because we're actually going to work smarter together as a team. I want you to get to know who your people are. I want you to get to know what their personalities are. I want you to get to know what's inside of their mind and what they feel they're really, really good at, and the parts of their job that they really excel in, and the parts where there are challenges. And you might find that person A, Bob, has a challenge with X, Y, and Z, but person Joe, that's his strength. Do you understand? So now you can have these guys work together as a team and to help edify and encourage each other. And so that, again, one, I see you to have great leadership potential and great leadership skills. But the next step, and it's the hardest thing for leaders to do because they're so used to directing everybody, but great leadership is going to pull out the best in their team. And that is working smart and not hard. Randy, I don't know if you've ever heard of job domination. Have you heard about that?
Actually, I have it, and I recently went through it.
Do you think it might be a good idea to bring it to work?
Yeah.
Do you think it might be a good idea to not assume that your guys don't want to grow personally, but that maybe they should be listening to some of these materials? Maybe it might be a good idea to turn them on to some of this. The key is get inside of their hearts. Find out what they want. Do not look at them like they're just a 98%er who's punching in and punching out. There's something inside of them. And if they are the person that just wants to punch in and punch out and moan and groan about his job, then he's not the right guy for your team, is he?
That is a correct statement.
Yep. So it's time to recruit a team that wants to win every day. This is Dani Johnson.
And I do.
We'll continue with more right after this.
Is workplace stress getting you down? After the break, Dani will show you what you can do to fix it today without quitting. More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider Membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what poverty-stricken families are dealing with in Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic needs of food, clean water, and safe housing. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming Nicaragua. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Nicaragua. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
Did you know you can take the Dani Johnson Show with you wherever you go? It's never been easier to stay up to date with the latest content from Dani with the DaniJohnson.com app. Watch or listen in the car, at the gym, or on the go. Download it now from the App Store and Google Play and never miss a show again. Your family, business, and bank account will thank you.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities. And they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
Faith, hope, love, and sometimes a good swift kick. You'll find them all here. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
6 in 10 workers express in a recent study that they've had increased stress at work. That's 60%. 60%. That's according to the Regis Group, who polled a group of people, 6 in 10 workers in major global economies reporting experiencing increased workplace stress caused by conflict with other employees, problems with their boss, and increased workload. How do we solve this? There's a rat race out there, but you don't have to be in it. You can play to win in 2018 by doing things dynamically different. You see, we somehow just succumb ourselves to the environment in which we're working in, instead of having the mindset to change that environment, to make a difference in that environment, to influence that environment. And there are ways you can influence the stressful work environment. You are also in control of all of your emotions. You are in control of your mouth. You're in control of your attitude, friend. And if you're going to play 2018 to win at work, then you're going to have to deal with the stress completely different than you dealt with it last year. We asked the question, what is bringing stress into the workplace for you from our audience? We've got Hangam Stanfield from Northeast San Antonio. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani.
Hi. So where's your stress coming from?
Well, my husband and I, we own a restaurant, so it's kind of a 7 days a week kind of an affair. And we lead a young staff. We have about 35 staff. About 85% of them are 19 or younger. Mm-hmm. And one of our things that causes me a lot of stress is the fine line between exactly what you were saying to the previous caller about leadership. And at times, again, with our children, you want them to make mistakes, and that's how they learn. However, on the other side of the coin, you have customers where the service is going to suffer, or we're not serving them with excellence. Yeah. And it gets me very stressed because we're disorganized. We're not following up. So we're dishonoring our customer.
Yep.
So that stresses me out. And the fine line of letting the staff to, make mistakes for them to learn.
Okay, but hold on. Time out. Okay, there's a boundary line of mistakes. Okay, there's a boundary line. You do not let the same person continue to make the same mistakes. So let me first of all, are you guys working 7 days a week?
We are not in the restaurant working 7 days a week, but we are on 7 days a week. We're checking sales, we're calling, or we're, like a surgeon who's on call.
Time out. There are some surgeons that choose not to be on call. We just finished the Christmas season, right? My father just had a full knee replacement. His doctor was untouchable for the day after my father had surgery. He had no way of getting in contact of his surgeon until today.
Good for him. Good for the surgeon.
Yeah, because the surgeon has set a boundary line.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? The surgeon refuses to be on call. Do you understand?
I understand.
That's working smart and not hard. So first and foremost, what you just showed me is that you and your husband are running a business with zero boundaries. So the reason why I asked if you guys are on 7 days a week is because it shows from the top down, there's no boundaries. So you guys have got to reestablish, how do you want your life to look like? Now, again, you're using the excuse that we have a restaurant as the reason why you work 7 days a week. No, you're the owner. You can establish what the hours are, and you can be closed at least 1 day a week. Is that day Monday? What's your slowest day of the week? Let it be that day that you what? You have a life. You have a life. You have time with each other that is not business driven. You have to ask yourself, and you'll come to the place where the stress is going to be so hard and so big and heavy that it causes health problems. I had a heart attack at 24 because I was working 5 to 6 days a week, 16 to 18 hours a day. I had no boundaries for my business. I had no boundaries for myself. I was a slave to my 2 companies. After a nervous breakdown the next year, because the heart attack wasn't enough of a message for me. It wasn't enough. That's how hard-headed and stubborn and stiff-necked I was. Is a heart attack wasn't enough. So then I became suicidal. The very next year, same time of the year, I had a nervous breakdown where I would cry when somebody would ask me what I wanted to eat. When I thought about having to take a shower, I started crying. When I thought about what I was supposed to wear that day, I started crying. My whole house, the blinds were closed all day long, and I just cried. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Be sure to tell a friend about the Dani Johnson Show. It just might be the key to the breakthrough they need. Stay right here for more of the Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
My name is Andris and I'm from Latvia. Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was a struggling English teacher back home. I had a language school that I started when I was 21 and had grown it to be pretty okay in my city. But at the same time, I had acquired a debt of $60,000. In a matter of 8 to 9 months, I got rid of my debt. And by 2011, we had our first $1 million year. This has been amazing. We grew our school from about 100 students to 2,000 students. And I can only highly recommend for you to come to the next event and be part of this community and learn the tools that will help you to succeed.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, my family and I were hemorrhaging under the pressures of debt. Since attending First Steps to Success in January of 2014, my family and I have paid off over $147,000 in 19 months. We're completely consumer debt free. We have restored relationships, and our business is growing at a rate of 15% at every event. Your next step is to sign up for the next First Steps to Success and start creating your own story.
My name is Jeff Conyers, and prior to First Steps to Success, I was a struggling business owner. I had discovered that my business account went negative $5,000, and I realized that I did not have a business plan and I needed to do something. Fast forward to 1 year after, I have now created just by implementing the tools at First Steps to Success, over $50,000, created another business, improved my personal and business relationships. Man, it's like the story is forever changing, and it just gets better and better. I don't know about you or what you're going through, but I would highly recommend getting to First Steps to Success.
Prior to plugging into First Steps to Success, we were drowning under a mountain of debt. We were heading to divorce court. We had failing businesses and toxic relationships. Since plugging into First Steps to Success, our marriage has been restored. We have paid off over $56,000 in 11 months. We've helped our community pay off over $300,000 in 14 months. My business has grown in over 600% in 4 months. And for the first time, I could say I'm just loving life. I have great relationships. So if you are fine where you are, then this event is not for you. But if you're ready to reach your goal and to change your life, then I highly recommend that you get registered for the next event.
Hi, my name is Jill Kearns. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Prior to coming to First Steps to Success, my husband and I were struggling financially and were hurting in our relationship a lot. We needed more time together, and we just were struggling with that because of the finances. And so since plugging in, we've actually paid off over $280,000 in debt. We're completely debt-free, and more than anything else, the look on my husband's face of relief and excitement about where our future lies, and the traveling and the fun, enjoyable times that we'll get to spend together as a family is totally worth it. So if you want to have better relationships with your significant other, your children, if you have a desire to be completely debt-free and released from that bondage for whatever reason, whatever the burdens are, your next step is to get to First Steps to Success right now.
So prior to getting started to DaniJohnson.com, I was a college dropout. I was working a bottom of the barrel type job. I started plugging into her training. I've skyrocketed through the ranks of corporate America. I've tripled my income in the last 5 years. That's all fine and dandy, but it wasn't, there's a part of me that had a part missing. So I ended up using Dani's prospecting skills, and I ended up meeting the love of my life. Since then, we've paid off $32,000 of debt since October 2014. So get here now. This is the greatest thing ever. You have to see this. The skills and strategies Dani teaches are unbelievable. They totally took someone like me with no education and helped me just like multiply my efforts. So you need to be here.
What multimillionaire do you know that volunteers their time to help ordinary people like you and me? There's only one. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
It wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. There I am, I'm 24. I'm running 2 companies. I'm neglecting my children. I've completely abandoned my marriage. No, we were still sleeping in the same bed, but we were hugging the opposite sides of the bed. I was a slave to my business. I was a slave to money. And honestly, I was a slave of being embarrassed. I was afraid that what if I failed? You see, I'd built a successful company on a part-time basis. Then I got embezzled, and I allowed my circumstances to change my boundary line. And that boundary line moved. I wasn't working 20 hours a week anymore. No, gosh, I was working 100 hours a week because somehow I got convinced that that was the only way I could save my company. And really, was it about saving my company? No, it was about saving myself from the embarrassment and humiliation if I had to close the doors. So a heart attack at 24 wasn't enough to change my ways. The nervous breakdown at 25, yeah, that actually was it. When my husband had to save my life, I tried to kill myself with a cleaver and a chef knife. Fortunately, he's a martial artist. He pinned me down to the ground and disarmed me. The biggest regret I have of that moment was not that, but was my 4-year-old daughter, Erica, coming out, rubbing her eyes because of all the screaming and the terror that she heard through the walls, saying, "Mommy, is everything okay?" as she saw her father pinning me down on the floor, face down, and 2 knives at the end of my hands. That's what it took. for me to wake up and realize that chasing money and trying to avoid failure by working 100 hours a week just wasn't worth it. Hangam from San Antonio joins me now. We're talking about stress. And here on the Dani Johnson Show, we challenge you to define success for you. We challenge you to take appropriate risks so that you can live the life that you were designed to live. We challenge, defy, and question the status quo of success. Because at the end of the day, if you have no life, but you've got a restaurant, a successful one at that, that's ruling and reigning over your life and dragging you by the throat through the mud, all of a sudden your kids are gone and grown and they hate you because they saw you work constantly and they felt neglected. Is that the life of success? For some people, that is their definition. And by golly, they'll end up hitting the same brick wall that I did. And once you do that, you wake up and you decide, wait a second. Hold on a second. There has to be more to life than the way I'm living it. So Hangam, we were talking about this 7-day work week. You see, if the leaders are working 7 days a week, it shows that there's no boundaries for that business. And you were just explaining to me, well, I want to give my opportunity. I want to be, as a good leader, I want to give my people an opportunity to make mistakes. Yes, but see, there's a boundary even on those mistakes, because you cannot, and you will not have a successful restaurant when your servers are allowed to make the same mistake multiple times over past a 3-day period. So what do I mean? There's a system, Hangam, that I created, that I learned, actually. I learned from another very successful business person, and it was called the 3-meeting plan. And I actually learned it 27 years ago when I was a waitress, but I didn't realize that I could actually apply it to my business. Now, have you ever been a waitress, Hangam? I'm assuming the answer is yes, because you own a restaurant.
Well, currently, prior to the restaurant, no, but yes, I serve our customers in the restaurant as well.
Okay, cool. So I worked for somebody else 27 years ago as a cocktail waitress. And so my first day, I had to follow around the waitress, the head waitress. I had to follow her around for an entire 2 days, actually. For 2 solid days, I followed her, which meant I made no tips. And back in those days, we got paid no money hourly, right? So the only money we made was from tips. So those first 2 days, pretty much I was volunteering to learn how the business ran and to learn how to take care of the customers, to take the orders, how to remember the stinking orders, right? And I had never worked in that environment before, right? So the next 2 days, then she followed me around and we split the tips. After those 4 days, I was released completely on my own. And even on the 3rd day, she didn't follow me around every single table. And on the 4th day, she followed me around even less. Do you understand? Because she saw that I had gotten some of it done. So by the end of those 4 days of training, I was released and on my own. It doesn't take longer than that to train a waitress at all. So if you have someone continuously making mistakes, they are not committed to their job. They are not conscious of what they're doing, and they don't have your vision for that restaurant in mind, which is excellent service to your customers and creating a hospitality experience for your clients and your returning clients to where they can't stop thinking about this place and have to come here every single day. So one of 2 things, actually 3 things are going on here. Number 1, there's no boundaries, and we see that with you and your husband. You guys are worried about your business. So much so.
Me, but that's okay.
What'd you say?
I worry way more than my husband. But,
okay. Well, then you're causing stress on your husband because you're telling your husband that the business is not good enough and his leadership is not enough. So that needs to stop. And you guys need to be a married couple away from the business at some point during that weekend. So if you're not there, you need to not be there. Do you understand? You need to not be there. Disconnect your mind from all of it and now be your husband's wife. Be his wife. Be his girlfriend. Be his sexy girl that is enticing him into the kitchen and into the living room and into the backseat of the car. Do you hear me? I want you to just totally rock his world, okay? And unplug from the business. Why? Because when you're thinking about it 24/7, you are weakening your mind. You're filling it with fear and anxiety. And that's weakening your mind. So cut that sucker off. You need a break from it. You'll be able to think much more clear, and you'll be more rejuvenated and ready to hit the week when you head back to work. Next, this 4 days, and it's how you cast your vision of your restaurant to your employees. You need to cast vision to them, and you need to do it consistently, even daily. And you ask your team, all right, guys, what are we here to do today? Before you even open, what are we here to do today? And there better be one sentence or two of what we're here to do every day. Like, for example, when we come into our office, we have our goal. All right, guys, what is our goal? 100 million lives by 2035. We want to change and impact and inspire 100 million lives by 2035. What's our mission? Changing lives. That's our mission. Changing lives. What are we here to do today? Changing lives. Every piece of paperwork, the IT department, what's your job today? Changing lives. Do you understand? So that vision is casted every single day in this office. Every day. And everyone here knows what their job is. Every day. Okay? The other thing is that they also know the values that we represent. Our values. What are our core values? What is the values that drive us every day? What are the core values for your restaurant?
Mine? Yes, I can tell you. Ours is learning and growing, serving with excellence and diligence. Those are the things that is our values. We have them on the wall, but I don't think we're emphasizing it. Exactly. So on a daily basis, you're asking your coworkers, hey, give me one of our core values. And the other thing is you need to define what those words actually mean and what does it look like in the work life, okay? Because if you give your people a way to succeed, they'll work towards that. If it's too loose and there's no boundaries and there's no structure, then they just loosey-goosey go through this day at work. And they're not fulfilled. The customer's not fulfilled. You're not fulfilled. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes. So get some boundaries, cast vision, and when you're hiring people, you're telling them, hey, listen, you got 4 days to get this together. A mistake once in a while is okay, but for the excellence and the hospitality that we are bringing to our customers to create an experience so much so that they've got to choose us over the other 5,000 restaurants here in San Antonio, the way that's going to happen is that we're going to give it our absolute best. My son is a chef in the most expensive restaurant here in our town. And one of the standards that him as a chef has, that the owner of the business has, is if somebody cooks that steak too much and we do not deliver a plate of food exactly with excellence, exactly how that client ordered it, guess what? The chef has to pay for it. The chef buys that meal that night. That's called accountability. That's accountability. Well, our staff, sometimes, they break equipment.
They have to pay for it. But you need to establish that up front. And so when you're recruiting, you're saying this is the kind of commitment level that we're looking for. And our girls are going to make great tips when they live according to these values and this commitment. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Is your job killing you? I mean, literally causing you to die? Find out next on The Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
My name is Mario Johns. I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania. And I just want to share with you on April 14, 2013, that was the first day I heard the name Dani Johnson. And I was so inspired by her story, and I just had to find out, how did she go from homeless to millionaire? And it was just so inspiring to me. So I went on DaniJohnson.com, and I started getting the daily emails, the daily fixes. And then after a while, I just stopped reading them for some reason. And August of 2013, it was 4 days before my first event. After work, I went on YouTube, and I typed in Dani Johnson's name, came to my mind, so I typed it in on YouTube, and I sat at my kitchen table for about an hour and just listened to testimonial after testimonial. And it was just so inspired. I'm like, I have to get to this first steps to success. And I had no money. I didn't know how I was gonna get there. The funny thing was, a week prior to this day, I got a credit card in the mail that I never asked for. It was a $1,200 credit limit. I was gonna cut it up, but I figured I'd save it for like the emergency. I got my event ticket, my flight, and my hotel room. I maxed that sucker out, and I came down to Dallas, Texas. And the first 3 hours of the first day, I was just like in tears the whole time. I was just so blown away. It was something that I was just so hungry for. And prior to plugging in, I was a depressed, hopeless, suicidal drug addict. I hated myself. I hated life. I hated other people. I felt like a slave to debt, and I actually accepted debt as part of my life. I had toxic relationships, and I was, and since plugging in, I've been drug-free for 15 and a half months now. I paid off over $13,000 worth of debt in a little over 13 months. I've completely restored my relationships with my family, my friends. I have amazing friends today from around the world. I love my life, and this is just an honor to be up on this stage. But if I just want to say, if you're new here, one thing that I wish I did is one of my favorite products is War on Debt, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't been following that as like I should be. My first event, if I got War on Debt and followed that with diligence, today I'd be debt-free. So I just want to encourage you, if you're new here and you have debt, I highly recommend getting that, because that's, by the end of this year, I want to be debt-free, and that's my goal. So please help me welcome back to the stage America's favorite millionaire, Dani Johnson.
The way you look at things is about to change. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Every 2 seconds, 7 people die of stress. That's according to the Center for Disease Control. They're the health authority of the U.S. That every 2 seconds, 7 people die because of stress. Are you going to be the next one? You will be if you don't change. You will be if you do not find a solution for your stress. If you continue to ignore it, it is going to kill you. You will have a destiny that has been aborted if you continue to just bootstrap it and handle it. There is a problem in your life that is causing the stress. You've got to stop pretending it's going to go away. You've got to learn a new skill to help you handle the circumstances that are pressing on you and pressurizing you, and then you're turning around and pressurizing everyone else you live with. People today are stressed out. They are trapped. They have something inside of them that is saying there has to be a better way, but yet they're not looking for the better way. You must look for the better way. And there are solutions, and that's what we're talking about here right now on the Dani Johnson Show. We are challenging you to not stay the same. You must win in 2018. You are called to be a conqueror, not to be the one who is suffocating under the pressure of your work life. Not to be the one that has been enchained. You've got chains around your neck and your hands tied to your feet like a prisoner who's committed a crime. That's not what you've been sentenced to, a life of stress. No. This has to be a year that you play to win. And in order to play to win in 2018, you need fresh new strategies. You need your skills refined. You need a different outlook. Because if you keep thinking and doing what you've been doing, it's going to kill you, as it almost killed me. We've got Haley on the line from Kansas. Haley, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani. Thanks. So my question kind of ties around to how do I get over the fear of letting people down, including myself, that fear of failure. Excuse me, sorry.
It's okay, baby.
Emotional about this.
It's okay.
My husband and I, we co-own 3 businesses, and I have about 50 to 60 employees between those 3 businesses, and about another 30 residents that I'm in charge of care for. So on any given day, I'm responsible for up to 100 people with their families included.
Wow.
Yeah. And we have been business owners with these 3 businesses. One of them stretches back as far as 10 years. And we've gone through, and pardon my language, we've gone through hell through it. Having been in ownership with other people, including family, it's a big mistake. Yeah.
Oof. Oy, 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 oy.
But, and I've heard you say before, you know, it's not that we fear the unknown or the future, but repeating the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm totally there.
Yeah.
So where do I even start? How do I move past that fear of making a wrong decision or repeating mistakes and essentially letting people down and impacting those lives?
So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What is the result of fearing letting people down and fearing failure? What is your result right now? Because that's how you're living.
Oh, it's absolute torture.
It is? It's torture.
It's heavy.
Keep going. Tell me more about that.
Anxiety, exhaustion, torture, stress, out of balance in every area of life.
Yeah. Have you talked to your husband about that?
Absolutely.
And what does he say? What does he say?
We've made a lot of changes. Listening last night to, playing to win for 2018, we've really tried eliminating a lot of the drama, distancing ourselves from a lot of negativity, hiring some really awesome people that are better than I am, better than we are in our businesses.
Yep.
So I feel like we're going in good directions.
But I'm going to tell you right now, I can sense that you're heading for a nervous breakdown right now. if you're not already in one. Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah. So it's time to sit down with your husband and say, I can't do it anymore. The pressure is killing me. And you, as my husband, I know you care about me more than you care about those businesses. I need to adjust my work schedule. I need to adjust what I'm doing because I can't breathe.
Yeah.
It's time to let go, Haley. It's time to let go. Because you have been doing what you said. You're playing so that you don't lose.
Yep.
You're playing so that you don't lose. And so you just told me what the result of playing so that you don't lose gives you. The result is what you said. It's torment. It's torture. I'm suffocating. I'm exhausted. So how do you flip it around? You start playing to win. How do you play to win? You choose not to fear. And you just go, you know what? You throw up your hands, you know what? If these 3 businesses fail, oh well. Oh well. And if I'm not going to make everyone happy, oh well. It is what it is. You see, you have put this pressure on yourself. You did this to you. Nobody else has put this pressure on you. You took it on all by yourself. You see, it's a surefire plan to fail if your goal is to please everybody. It's a plan to fail. No one. Look, I don't know what your faith is, but God Almighty himself, you know, the perfect creator who created the heavens and the earth, who's in charge of everything, does he please everybody?
No.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of the story of Jesus?
Yeah.
You have? You've heard the story? Did he please everybody?
Absolutely not.
No. Not at all. Not even a little bit. What I'm hearing in your voice is that you need to be refreshed. You need a time to get away, and you need to be refreshed. You see, business owners largely take care of themselves last, and that's the biggest mistake they make. The biggest mistake they make. They empty themselves out because they're pouring into everybody else's life. They're answering all the questions. They're leading everybody, and they do not go to a place where they can sharpen their own axe. So now they're exhausted with a dull axe trying to chop down a tree. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Don't go away. The next segment might just change your life. This is The Dani Johnson Show. Did you know you can take The Dani Johnson Show with you wherever you go? It's never been easier to stay up to date with the latest content from Dani with the DaniJohnson.com app. Watch or listen in the car, at the gym, or on the go. Download it now from the App Store and Google Play and never miss a show again. Your family, business, and bank account will thank you.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider Membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success. Helping you become all you were meant to be. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
What leaders need is to be around a supportive group of other people on a very consistent basis where they're submitting themselves to being refreshed. What does that mean? They're getting their skills sharpened. They're getting away from their staff and their family so that they can come and learn or relearn some things they have forgotten. They go to a place where they can be fine-tuned and coached in a direction for them to reach their higher level. Because so often leaders of businesses are so much in the trenches that they lose their way somehow. And largely because they're looking down at their people, not down in a bad way. I'm saying they're looking in all the time in that business instead of looking up at somebody else that might have higher skills than they do, instead of submitting themselves to someone who can help to direct them or ask them important questions that makes them have a revelation. So they empty themselves out and then they have nothing left in them to give. They've given all the encouragement, they've got none for themselves. So this is exactly where Haley is right now. And Haley, I have a feeling that your life depends on plugging in to First Steps to Success immediately. Get yourself registered today. This needs to happen. And if you are that leader, that you have found yourself in the same place, again, stress is a choice, and it's largely because we've gotten so busy in our busyness that we have not picked our head up and allowed someone else to pour into us, allowed somebody else to water encouragement over us, allowed somebody else to pour new, fresh wisdom into us, and to fine-tune our skills. So First Steps to Success, it's taken place right now. It's time to get registered. DaniJohnson.com, click on events. Get yourself registered right now. It is February 23rd, 24th, and 25th, Dallas, Texas. Again, February 23rd, 24th, 25th, Dallas, Texas. Click on events. Get yourself registered right now. There's majorly discounted tickets. I don't care what the price is for you to fly there. I don't care what the cost is for you to be in a hotel. It will be worth it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. After you end this event, you will say, this was the best choice I've made for my life in a really long time. Another step is to have your staff attending these events, just like Andrus from Latvia did. Brought his staff all the way from Latvia, which is like near Russia, all the way to the United States. We're talking skeins of them, tons of his employees. He had a failing business. He was struggling financially, $60,000 in debt. He had 8 employees and 100 customers. Shortly after him and his team attending these events, his team grew to now over 100 employees and 2,000 customers. Friend, his stress. Now, the man is traveling around the world. Give me a break. Your new life is on its way. I will see you at First Steps to Success. Other than that, that's it for us today. Please share today's show. Somebody else is struggling with stress, and it's about to kill them. This is Dani Johnson. Goodbye.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DaniJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been The Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.